Welcome. Is CNC customization just a gimmick, or does it truly deserve its reputation? Today, I'm bringing you a review on a very controversial topic. With the booming toy market, more and more toy watch sellers and peers are entering the customization field. At the same time, it has also brought some negative trends from toy watch letter factories into this sector. Among them, CNC customization is a major problem area. Today, I happen to have a very good case, so I'll use this video to share a detailed analysis with everyone. Let's start with what CNC technology is, why we use CNC technology, and what the differences are between various CNC processes. What versions are there of the genuine watch dials? What are the detailed differences between these versions? Secondly, what does the self-winding movement represent? Today, I'll provide a detailed share through this video, so more people can pay attention to Dabayat and interact in the comments for more precise communication. First, let's talk about the three things in the video, starting with the dial on the left. All alone. Huh? This is a standalone dial from the WY3K toy version. And what about the watch in the middle? It features an original, authentic dial, hands, calendar, and the 324 movement. The original genuine movement is paired with a customized CNC watch case, strap, and lugs. And over here is the pure CNC craftsmanship includes the watch case, strap, buckle, and the two crystal surfaces above and below, so it essentially strips away everything except the dial, hands, calendar, and movement, leaving just the outer shell. Today, we'll take these three items and provide detailed answers to the questions I raised earlier. So, what exactly is CNC craftsmanship? Baidu explains it better than I can, and I'll attach that explanation on the screen for everyone to check out, along with the CNC processing steps. After watching two videos, everyone can have a simple understanding of it. So, why use CNC craftsmanship? Let's take this 5711 blue dial Nautilus as an example. The genuine movement has a diameter of 26 millimeters, while the toy version 3K's movement diameter is 26.5 millimeters, which is a difference of 0.5 millimeters. If you were to install the genuine movement in the 3K case, if you want the movement to be centered and the dial to be centered, that's not feasible, or it's very difficult to achieve. If you force it in, it can cause the movement and dial to misalign, which means that when we press down on the outer metal ring, it can easily press against the dial. If it presses against the dial, it can cause irreversible damage to the dial, which is quite expensive. It would be rendered completely useless. So, this is why when we use genuine movements and authentic dials, we must use CNC crafted cases. The current letter factories and toy versions just can't achieve the precision needed for a perfect fit with the original parts. If you're just using a customized base or a substitute dial, that's not really an issue, because a 3K case can actually achieve a relatively good fit with it. But when it comes to genuine parts, that level of fit does have its differences. So what are the differences between CNC processes? At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there are some bad practices creeping into this industry. CNC is a major hotspot for that. Why do I have this empty case? This case was made by someone else for a watch friend of mine, while this one is made by me. At first glance, these two cases might not seem very different, but there are many differences in the details, whether it's the screw holes, the curvature of the rounded edges, the height of the mirror surface, the corners of the mirror, or the angle of the inlay in the engraving on the clasp. There are very clear differences in every aspect. And this is just the difference in appearance. There are also some differences in the movement structure and the internal grooves. That's also why my friend, this watch enthusiast, is willing to come to me and spend a lot of money to customize a CNC case. Having spent hundreds of thousands, what's a little more for the case? It's like finding a mouse droppings in a pot of soup. It ruins the whole mood. So, since they are all CNC, why do some cost a little less and others a little more? At this point, we need to keep our eyes wide open and carefully examine the differences in details. Only by doing this can you avoid being deceived and find products that are more reliable and offer better value for money. Now let's take a look at the dial. The one on my right is from WI3K, which we refer to as 3K. This is a toy version of a dial, and on the left is an original genuine dial. You can see these two dials. Under different lighting and angles, the colors really do differ. They are truly different. Why? Because these two dials actually do not belong to the same version. This 3K version is made based on the M1 version, while the genuine dial I have in hand is the M2 version. There is also the M3 version available on the market. I've attached the dials of M1, M2, and M3 on the screen for everyone to see. They not only differ in color, but there are also differences in the grid patterns on the dial and the printing of the logo at the face position. So when this situation arises, we shouldn't immediately deny that the 3K version is wrong, right? Of course, I've previously filmed many comparisons between genuine and fake watches, and if you're interested, you can check out those earlier reviews. When comparing the 3K dial with its contemporaneous M1 version, there are indeed differences in color and the fineness of the brushing. But through this video, I just hope everyone understands that even genuine dials have some differences in color and texture. So when we compare authenticity, we must use dials from the same period and the same version for comparison. That makes sense. For example, if the 3K dial is the M1 version, then I should find a genuine M1 for comparison. The genuine dial I'm using here is the M2 version, and these two dials actually have differences in the width of the grids, right? The colors of the dials also differ. There isn't a clear standard, so it can't serve as a reference. Therefore, only comparing dials from the same period and version makes sense. This is also why, when we use ODM custom dials, we can see different versions as a main reason. Let me add something here. The M2 dial I have here uses the same dial as the 57131G with the hard 5 screws. I've also verified this through practical testing and found an answer. So, this M2 dial can not only be modified for this steel watch, but it can also be transformed into the diamond bezel version of the 57131G, which looks fantastic. This includes the movement issues we'll talk about later. The genuine movements started with the 3-digit series, then moved to the 5-digit series, and then to the 7-digit series. The smaller the number, the earlier the year. And currently, this movement is relatively cheaper. The 3-character head movements all have Geneva engravings. Currently, this movement's secondary market price is around 90,000, while the 5-character head movements are about 100,000, and the 7-character head movements are generally around 120,000. This is also why sometimes, even if they are all genuine movements, whether you go for authentication at places like Misty Days, Cloudfish, or Tsinghua, they all confirm that this movement is real. But the price difference can be several tens of thousands. Let's compare the 3-character head and 7-character head movements. The 3-character head movement is nearly over 30,000 cheaper than the 7-character head movement. They are all genuine, but they are just cheaper. This is due to the age. They are older, have already lost their warranty, and have been used for a long time, which makes them worn out. So we should choose parts for genuine movements. When modifying, you must first clarify what type of fund you have, whether it's the Geneva seal or the double P mark. If we grasp these details clearly, we won't waste our money. Finally, let's take a look at the overall condition of this genuine movement that starts with a 7. This is a 7-to-1 model, and the movement is around 120,000. The overall cost of this watch has actually reached over 200,000, while the price for this original version in the secondary market is over 700,000. So, aside from the case, strap, and buckle, which are custom made by DNC, everything else is in the original genuine condition. With the price coming in at over 200,000, which is nearly 500,000 less than the original's 700,000, is it worth it? As enthusiasts, we have to weigh that ourselves. Since a friend asked me to help make this choice, he believes it's definitely worth it. Since I'm willing to shoot this review, I also think spending 50,000 less to achieve the same effect as the original is worth it. But are there players who feel that this configuration and price really make it hard to commit? Then take some more time to think it over and take another look. After all, there are so many options for the 5711 now, from letter factories to custom movements with ready-to-use styles, to heavily modified movements with different lenses. Whatever price range you're looking for, it's out there, but you really need to keep your eyes peeled, so you can solve bigger problems for less money. Regarding this watch, we've briefly shared these few issues. If you want to know more, feel free to interact with the teachers in the comments section. If it's convenient for you, please give me a quick like and follow. Thank you so much, and see you next time.